have a heavyweight fight on our hands, a battle of the last two NBA champions. Alongside Stephen A. Smith, Bob Myers, Kendrick Perkins, I'm Malika Andrews. Through 1,230 games that make up the NBA regular season, sometimes there are times, right, where we might focus on a superstar showdown or maybe a measuring stick game for potential contenders or a chance for the champs to say, we're not going anywhere. Well, this Sunday showcase has all three wrapped into one. Stephen A., what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Denver Nuggets team is going to show up and who's going to step up. As a starting five, they shoot 52% collectively from the field, about 40% from three-point range. They got a few dudes, I think 4 different dudes averaging like 25 minutes a game, shooting about 40% from the field or what have you. It's very impressive. But what's your bench? Your efficiency from your bench is ranked like 25th in the league. I want to see what they do against the Boston Celtics. Jokic is going to show up. We know that. We hope Jamal Murray will do so as well. Who else is going to show up for the Denver Nuggets? Because you're going to need that today to beat a Boston Celtics team that have lost 2 straight and damn sure ain't trying to lose 3 straight. You're going to have to show up.
There's so many storylines in this game, so let's get out and run. Brought to you by Samsung. It's harder to find 2 players who do more for their teams on the offensive end than Nikola Jokic and Jayson Tatum. They're the only players to lead their team outright in points, rebounds, and assists this season. And today's matchup, it's a little bit of a contrast in styles here, right? The Nuggets, they lead in paint points per game, while the Celtics, they are last. However, Boston does counter that by attempting the most threes in the NBA, whereas the Denver Nuggets, on the other hand, they are 30th. And one similarity between these teams is their place in the standings. They're both second in their respective conferences, but there's a huge gap between themselves and the 1 seeds, the Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You really can't count out either of these teams when it's all said and done. Bob, what is it about the Celtics team that makes them so special?
I think, Malika, you just showed it. I'm okay with Denver being the best in the league in the paint and Boston being the best from 3 because efficiency-wise, Denver's got the 2nd best offense in the league from an efficiency standpoint. Boston has the 4th. So it both works. The concern I have for Denver, Malika, is they're 15th best in the league in defense. Boston is 5th. That's where the Celtics, I think, have the edge in a game like this. And if these 2 teams meet in the final, certainly the edge. But look at those stats. The fact that Boston can spread you out as much as they can, and Perk, you played the center position in the NBA. You know, when I play pickup basketball, I'd ask, who's the guy on the other team that can't shoot? Because I want to guard that guy. Because you don't have to work nearly as hard. Perk, when you're a 5 and you're out there running around guarding an Al Horford or Porzingis, talk about how much that stretches you out. That affects your entire defense, and the Celtics do it better than anybody as far as three-point shooting from multiple positions. You see 8 guys there averaging that many three-point attempts per game. It's hard to defend that team.
But Denver scores more points per game than Boston, despite taking 17 less threes a night. How is that even possible?
Well, 1, you had the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, and 2, Jamal Murray finally arrived and decided to join the season. And when they have that 2-man game, it's hard to stop, especially when Jokic is the screener, because now that Jamal Murray has been balling, you put 2 on the ball, all of a sudden Jokic becomes your secondary decision maker. And Aaron Gordon, we know how he loves to play that dunker spot, and we talk about a tandem. It's one of the best tandems in the game is Jokic and Aaron Gordon. So that's how they're getting their points in the paint, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's hard to stop that 2-man game between Jokic and Murray.
The championship pedigree, Stephen A., of both of these teams are undeniable, but this is the first time each conference leader has had a lead of at least 7 games when entering March. Where do you think the gap is smaller, Stephen A., between the Celtics and the Cavaliers or between the Nuggets and the Thunder?
Well, clearly between the Celtics and the Cavaliers. I mean, I don't think there's any chance that Denver's catching OKC for the #1 seed. Neither is Boston, but I'm saying Boston's closer, not just because obviously they're 7.5 games out while Denver's 9.5 games out. You just look at the way OKC has been rolling throughout the year. We're concerned about OKC in the postseason. The regular season, they've been on a roll for the last 2 years. I see no reason that that's going to be disrupted. Whereas with Boston and Cleveland, you still have a lot of people out there wondering about Cleveland. I'm not. I've been saying they're the #1 threat to the Boston Celtics, but when you come out, for example, and you fall down 11-0 and you fall down 25-3, it's moments like that to say, you know, what's going on here, before they ultimately come back and show you who they are. So I would say the answer to this question is Boston, although I don't think either of them are going to catch the top seed.
I think you're right. I don't think either of these teams, if the question is can they catch and get to the 1 seed, whether the Denver Nuggets...
I don't think it's quite so literally. Yeah, I think it's more about the...
And I think, Malika, they're close. I mean, I don't know that you... Both of the... I could see the Celtics beating the Cavs. A lot of people could see that. A lot of people predict that. That's not a crazy presumption. I could also see Denver beating OKC, although I think the gap between those two is a little bit more just because Oklahoma City is so good defensively. But I trust Jokic so much. I may be overvaluing what he can do in a playoff series by himself because he's so good and can dominate a possession on the offensive side. And I always just say this about LeBron. LeBron could get you a good shot for himself or for anybody else. And Jokic, to me, is as good as anybody at getting a good offensive possession by running it through him.
Jokic is good, but I don't trust the Denver Nuggets, right? Like, and we keep putting them as a team that's a legit title contender. The question is why? Why? Why do
Jokic,
but why? Team-wise, why do we put them in that conversation?
One, they've done it. I think they've done it. That's one reason.
2 seasons ago. Okay, so now you look at them this season, they're 14-15 against teams that has above 500 record. And against the top dogs, they have 1 win. 1 win. And so I'm looking at it. J.J. Redick has exposed something when the Lakers played them. I believe that teams are going to double-team Jokic, take away cutters, and the Denver Nuggets are going to have to knock down threes at a high level. I don't believe that they could do that. That is going to be the scouting report against them. I don't think the Denver Nuggets are a legit title contender. I don't think teams are afraid of them. Matter of fact, teams are ready to get their feet hot with the Denver Nuggets.
Well, I think there are a couple of things. Well, first of all, again, reiterating the point that their bench is 25th in offensive efficiency. So that doesn't help. Secondly, we've seen the Denver Nuggets in the past where Jokic explodes and nobody else shows up. We have seen it. That's not foreign to us. So the notion, every time everybody throws in a question about the Denver Nuggets, okay, well, what's going to happen with Jokic? I'm saying go ahead and assume that he's going to be as great as we all know him to be. Who else is going to show up?
And that's the key.
And that's the question.
Stephen A., when they won it, and Perk, you know this, Jamal Murray was fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably played the best basketball of his career.
Right.
That's what it's going to take. And it's fair to question if that can happen.
But he's been rounding into form over the last month.
He's been a lot better. And he cannot, if he falls back at all, you're right. Jokic will get 30, 20, and 15. And if Murray's getting 18 points, that's not going to do it. So it does require somebody to come with him, and it has to be Murray.
Well, he's the only guy to have 20 points, 50, 40, 90 since the All-Star break. So he's doing his part now.
Yeah, I mean, he is, but let's be real here, right? They're last in the league. The Denver Nuggets are one of the worst teams in the league for its rim protection. You got to be able to defend the paint at a high level.
No question. On the defensive end is where they struggle. Offensively, though, they're second.
Yeah, because of the paint points. But, Malik, I'm telling you, that scouting report, those shoot-arounds get longer in the postseason, and what's going to happen is teams are going to dare them to beat them from the three-point line, and I don't believe that they could do it at a high level.
This is a great litmus test for the Denver Nuggets, but also the Boston Celtics. Boston's had a little bit of a tough week here, right? They are Since the Oscars are tonight, we'd like to do our own NBA version. It is time for the Stephen A's.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How you do? How you do? How you do? The Oscars are tonight on ABC, so it's apropos that I make sure to share some of my best, you know, my winners for certain categories right here, okay? You ready for this, Big Perk?
No.
You ready for this? You ready for this, Malika?
No.
I am ready.
Give me the nominees, please. Introduce them, Malika, please. Introduce them.
For the Best Supporting Actor, the Stephen A's, your nominees are, first, Jaylen Brown.
Yes.
Okay.
Then the Boston Celtics.
Okay, keep going.
Supporting Jayson Tatum.
Jamal.
And then Jamal Murray.
Okay.
The co-star with the 3-time MVP, Nikola Jokic.
Right.
And we have 2 new faces in new places. Jimmy Butler in Golden State next to Steph Curry. And Luka Doncic in LA with LeBron. So, Stephen A., your first
winner
Stephen A.
is Jimmy Butler. He is the best supporting actor thus far since he has arrived in Golden State. We see how impressive they have looked. We see how impressive he has looked. Not only is he putting up some buckets, he's getting to the free throw line. That's spelling for Steph Curry, freeing him up to be the babyface assassin we know him to be. The Golden State Warriors